Hello, everybody. So I'm following up on my commitment to posting more videos on Jehovah's Witnesses. And today's topic, I found a really interesting video that shocked me. It was a talk given by Governor Losch, who is a member of the governing body. It was done in 2005 in Italy. And this guy, I didn't know this until now, but apparently there are Jehovah's Witnesses who strongly discourage higher education. And his reason for that, at one point, he actually compared pursuing a higher education to committing suicide and surviving and trying to live what basically he called a jaded life. I was really appalled by this, not only as a college student, but as someone who believes that you should be able to question your faith and you should be able to live your life in a fulfilling manner, in doing what makes you happy. Anyway, what he went on to say was that whether or not you go to college may indicate the degree of your faith or lack thereof in Jehovah. And it may indicate how present the imminence of the Great Tribulation is in your mind. Whether or not you go to college, let's see. At one point, he actually cited 1 Corinthians 7:29, where Paul basically says that all this preacher guy says is that Paul says that time has been reduced and that you don't have much time. He doesn't really elaborate on that. It's just very vague. So what he's doing here, the whole gist of this is that he's trying to instill a sense of, oh my God, we don't have much time left. Let's, drop out of college and try to live God's will because, the end is near. And supposedly, I read somewhere else that supposedly Jehovah's Witnesses stopped claiming that the end was near a while ago, but this guy has just said it again. He said that the end is near. You shouldn't be in college because it's a waste of time. And therefore, he said, if we're wise, we won't associate ourselves with those who are a part of this world, which is going to end soon anyway. Bad association. Why waste your time associating with these people when the end is near? And despite everything that he's saying, he actually goes on to tell his audience that they're not trying to tell listeners what to do. They're not trying to tell members how to live their lives, and that children should make this decision with their parents. One is really counterproductive with the other in terms of those statements, for the sheer fact that you just got done telling us that if we go to college, we're wasting our time, our beliefs are going to end up diluted and jaded and illegitimate, and yet you're not trying to tell us what to do. It seems really contradictory to me. So again, this whole thing just seemed really appalling to me. Fear the end of the world, therefore don't pursue a higher education, don't pursue your goals, stay within this little bubble that we have designated for you, and don't try to look for a newer, broader horizon. That's what this says to me. And then finally he goes on to this analogy that he drew between someone who completed their college degree and someone who committed suicide, who tried to commit suicide and failed. He compared it to, let's say, a hypothetical man who has a compulsive disorder, and he buys a rifle, puts the gun in his mouth, and pulls the trigger. But he survives, and miraculously, the bullet hits the part of his brain that is responsible for his disorder. So he took that analogy and then made this really wild shift to say that, despite the fact that this guy's compulsive disorder was basically annihilated, would you recommend this to someone else? Would you tell someone else to go and buy a rifle and try to kill himself? And then he went on to say immediately afterward, would you recommend to someone that they go to college? That just seems really screwed up to me. I gotta be completely honest with you. I do not see the logic in that whatsoever, especially if you know the history of this religion and the fact that they have tried to predict the end of the world countless times and failed every single time. So when you look at that and then you look at this dude, you think, how credible is this? Ask yourself that. Just how credible is this talk that he's giving? And should you really put your college education on the line for these reasons? Anyway, it's something to think about, and I appreciate you listening. Please post your opinions. I would love to hear what you have to say, especially if you are a Jehovah's Witness and you do have a different opinion from mine for whatever reason. I'd love to hear from you. Anyway, thanks for listening, and I hope you have a great day.